across a 27,000 square mile stretch in the southwest lies Navajo Nation. And for decades, communities have been lacking an everyday essential most Americans just take for granted. Of course, we're talking about water.
ABC's Rachel Scott traveled into rural New Mexico and Utah to witness the struggle firsthand as families try to access that basic human need.
It's a drive most Americans will never have to take. But for the last 20 years, this is what Henry Wilson has had to do to get water for his family. In Monument Valley, Utah, the line at the well starts early. And today, Henry arrived much later than he had hoped. Every car in this line is a family in the Navajo Nation without access to running water. After 90 minutes of waiting, Henry finally pulls up to the well. That 325-gallon basin will only be enough to get his family of 10 through the next 24 hours. His final stop, manually filling his family's underground water tank. Three hours later, he arrives back home. His wife, Eloise, and several grandchildren waiting with pails in hand. Henry and Eloise invited us inside their hogan, a spiritual traditional home. What does water mean for your culture and for your community?
We pray with water. We bless ourselves with water. And water is really special to us.
But what's considered sacred in the Navajo Nation is also scant. 30% live without running water. What is the longest that you have waited in line for water?
3 hours. Summer, hot.
We have to keep the water coming in the tank every day for us to shower, for us to get ready for work. We always think that those people that have running water are really lucky.
It's not just Eloise and Henry. From Utah to New Mexico, families in the Navajo Nation travel miles, often multiple times a day, just to get access to the most essential resource, water.
This is the bucket that we have to fill up water, the only bucket that we have. And we do get water from the store, like Walmart.
In Pruitt, New Mexico, Erica Francis uses that one and only bucket to get water for her family of 6 from an outdoor tap up the road.
We try to just use 5 gallons, a bucket a day. But sometimes it's just not enough, and you need more and more.
Most Americans use 82 gallons.
Washing up, I usually just, put up a big pot of water and put it on the stove and heat it up like that until it get hot, and mix it with a little bit of cold water. It'll be warm for my littles to bathe in.
The fight over water rights in the Navajo Nation is now in the hands of the Supreme Court. For now, it's the indigenous-led organization Dig Deep that stepped in to bridge the gap. Cindy Howe is the deputy director.
My team is, they're all Navajo people. They're actually out here helping their own people to try to get water.
Cindy has worked for years to bring water tanks to the reservation. And today, Erica gets her very own.
Okay, are we ready? There you go. Now wash your hands.
Within just 24 hours, Dig Deep was able to give Erica something she's waited her entire life for: clean water.
They're getting emotional.
Yeah, Cindy. I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, how powerful.
Yeah, and we're joined now by Rachel Scott. We met those families, but there are more families that don't have running water. It's about 30% of the Navajo Nation. Why has nothing been done about this?
This is really a centuries-old battle, and at this point, it is now in the hands of the Supreme Court. Whose responsibility is it to ensure access to water on the reservation? Is it the federal government, or is it actually the tribes themselves? So the Supreme Court will weigh in on this likely in June, and it will have big implications.
And Rachel, you were telling us that earlier this month, the White House announced a $6.5 billion plan for upgrades to drinking water infrastructure. Do you know if any of that will get to the Navajo Nation?
It will. So a large portion of that will go to tribes and territories. We also know that $580 million in federal funds will also go to over a dozen tribes as well. But look, all of this is just going to take time. So even though projects in the Navajo Nation will likely get millions of dollars, by one estimate, some of that won't be completed till 2027. So this is a community that hasn't had access to water for decades, and it's going to take a few more years to even just make a little progress.
So many people don't think of not having access to running water as a modern problem, like that this would still be existing in the United States of America. I do remember that COVID really ravaged the Navajo Nation. Did water access play into that at all?
And this is a community that is still really struggling from the pandemic.
Rachel Scott, thank you so much
You're
for
the
bringing
best.
us this report.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.